private sector companies. So, Mr. Speaker, it's a matter of striking a balance. If we fail to strike a balance, New Zealand is going to tumble down. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
In reply, Dr. Russell Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to speak on this bill about protecting New Zealand farmland for New Zealand residents and citizens. Now, this is part of a broader debate that we need to have about foreign investment in New Zealand. And the Green Party isn't opposed to foreign investment. We think, however, that before the New Zealand government and people should approve foreign investment, there should be some value adding for New Zealand. There should be new capital, new networks, new technology. There has to be some reason to approve such foreign investment. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to have the mature debate in this parliament that we need. So, for example, from the National Party, Jonathan Coleman and Maurice Williamson, we just had abuse directed at me for being a migrant. That is the National Party's approach, and we see them snickering over there. They abuse migrants, and they argue that migrants don't have a right to speak in New Zealand. I disagree with that. And I'd say to Maurice Williamson and Jonathan Coleman and John Banks, who also said this, that migrants have got a right to speak in this parliament. And migrants, I say to migrants in New Zealand, the National Party, the ACT Party, Jonathan Coleman, Maurice Williamson, John Banks, they abuse migrants, but the Green Party stands up for migrants and the rights of migrants to speak in this parliament and the rights of migrants to own land in New Zealand, because this is about New Zealanders, citizens and permanent residents being able to afford to buy land in New Zealand. Because if we have unrestricted overseas buy-up of land in New Zealand as part of the global land grab, it will become unaffordable for ordinary New Zealanders, whether those New Zealanders were born here or whether they're migrants like me. And so if you're a migrant, don't listen to the abuse from Maurice Williamson, don't listen to the abuse from Jonathan Coleman, don't listen to the abuse from John Banks. Actually stand up for your rights, because you are a citizen in this country, you're a permanent resident in this country, and you have rights to, and under this Green Party bill, you have rights to own land. In fact, you will be able to afford land under this bill, because as opposed to the National ACT government, the John Key, John Banks government, we think that land should be affordable for all New Zealanders. And that is the purpose of this bill, because those who understand what's happening with global capitalism at the moment will understand that there are these enormous capital flows and there is enormous value being placed on food-producing land all over the world, and there is what's called a global land grab underway. A massive area of land has been bought both by sovereign countries and by large corporations because they value food-producing productive land. And New Zealand land is a target for that global land grab, and if we don't protect the golden goose that lays the golden eggs, then we only have ourselves to blame. If we're not smart enough to have the intelligent debate, which obviously the National Party are incapable of, the intelligent debate to discuss how do we engage with foreign investment, what kind of foreign investment is good for New Zealand, and what kind of foreign investment doesn't add anything to the New Zealand economy but simply becomes a drain on the New Zealand economy. That is the kind of sophisticated discussion that we need to have as a country as we engage as a small open economy with the rest of the world. It's very difficult to have that conversation in this parliament when, of course, the National Party and the ACT Party just launch abuse. But I'm very thankful that my colleagues in the Labor Party, New Zealand First, the Māori Party and Mana are all supporting this bill through to Select Committee, because I accept that not everybody thinks this bill is perfect, but it is part of the debate we need to have in Select Committee and elsewhere in New Zealand about what are the right kind of policy settings we need so that we get the most from foreign investment, but we don't lose control of our country, we don't lose control of the profit streams that come out of land as well as other kinds of assets in New Zealand if they become overseas owned. We've seen problems in the banking sector and the telecommunications sector where overseas purchasers have simply bought up existing companies and have dominated those sectors, and they have become drains on the New Zealand economy as those profits have travelled overseas. So it's very important that we protect key strategic parts of our economy, like our food-producing land, and make sure that those profits and the benefits from that land actually flows back to New Zealand. And that's what this bill is all about. Now, this bill is likely to be defeated tonight on the votes of John Banks, that one person, that man who solicited and received donations and then declared them as anonymous. It is John Banks, that one vote, that is likely to defeat this bill, and that is morally repugnant, Mr Speaker. This bill should go to Select Committee. This bill has the support of New Zealanders. This bill is the bill that will actually keep New Zealand farmland under New Zealand control, and all New Zealanders support that, as a matter of fact.
The debate having concluded, I will put the question. The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The noes have it. Party vote. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes in favour.
Green Party.
14 votes in favour.
New Zealand First.
8 votes in favour.
Māori Party.
2 votes in favour.
Mana.
1 vote in favour.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote opposed.
United Future.
1 vote opposed.
Any other votes?
The ayes are 59, the noes are 61. The motion is not agreed to. Call on members. Order of the day number 2.
Habeas Corpus Amendment.